Welcome back to the Woman Made Well podcast. I'm so excited to be back with you guys today. Today, we are finally going to take a deeper dive into the 3 pillars of mental well-being that we talked about in self-determination theory, but we're going to take them one at a time. So today, we're talking about the first pillar of mental well-being, and that is autonomy. We've mentioned what autonomy was before in an earlier podcast, but we're going to dive in deep, and I'm going to start from the very beginning. So what is autonomy? Autonomy is having control over your life. And when somebody has autonomy, they feel that they make choices in their life that aligns with their values instead of being controlled by external forces. So basically, you do what you want to do. You're moving towards the goals you want to go to, and you feel like the decisions you make affect the outcome of your life. So why is autonomy important? It's important for well-being. When you feel autonomous, you're motivated. When you're in control of your life, you're motivated to do more because what you do actually affects your life. When you have autonomy, you have more personal growth than people who don't feel in control of their life. You also have confidence, which is key, especially in our next pillar of well-being, competence. Because when you are in control of what you're doing, you feel good about what you're doing. And you also feel when you have a lot of autonomy in your life that there's more meaning to your life. So what does a person who has a lot of autonomy look like? I want you to think about, as I describe an autonomous person, if this looks like you. I wish it looked like me, but I'm not quite sure I'm there yet. But first of all, somebody who has a lot of autonomy or control of their life is very self-aware. They understand their needs and wants, and they know what brings them peace and what takes that peace away, and how important is that. We can be more in control of our life when we know what we need, and that is so true. If you know what brings you joy, and you can incorporate into your life, you're going to have more joy. And vice versa. If you know what troubles you, what brings you anxiety and stress, and we can limit that in our life, again, we're going to be happier, less anxious. So again, a person who is autonomous is self-aware. Next, people who have a lot of autonomy believe that they are their locus of control. And what does this mean? This means that they believe that they are in charge of their destiny, that they have the ability to change the outcome of their life. And obviously this is very key. That's a belief in yourself and a belief that you have the ability to change things. This leads right into the next quality of an autonomous person, which is they believe in self-efficacy. And this means that they believe they're capable of accomplishing things that they try. They believe that if they try something, they'll be able to succeed. Maybe not the first time, but if they continue, that they will. The last 2 qualities of an autonomous person are not necessarily that something that we can control necessarily. The first one is that they have a supportive environment. That means that in order to have a lot of control in your life, you typically have friends and family or a community that believes in you and provides opportunities for your growth. That, again, is not always something we can control. And lastly, people who have a lot of control in their life have some level of freedom so that they can act independently. This is also not something that all of us can control. So someone who has a lot of autonomy is self-aware. They feel like they are the head control center for their life. They believe that they can accomplish things that they try. They have a supportive environment, and they have some level of freedom in order to live within that. When I hear this, it sounds pretty dreamy. It sounds pretty much like a life any of us would want to live, and that's clear why having autonomy is one of the pillars of well-being. But what it does not sound like is life postpartum. Autonomy is almost completely lost postpartum. And if you're listening to this and you haven't had a child yet and you're pregnant, maybe you don't understand this quite yet, but any mom who's had a baby understands what I'm talking about, that autonomy is lost postpartum. And I've never had a patient disagree with me on this one. When you have a baby, you lose any level of freedom. You can't choose when you wake up, when you eat. You can't even choose when you go to the bathroom or if you go to the bathroom alone. And this freedom is lost due to a huge increase in the burden of responsibility. You now have a human life that you are completely responsible for. So how does this leave us feeling? At first, we're just surviving. We're buckling down and just trying to figure everything out. But as days pass, without ending or beginning, because when you have a baby, it's not like any day ends and another begins. You're up through hours through the night, and nothing seems to change in your life but the days on the calendar. We can start to feel trapped. We are not in charge of our lives. Our baby is. They dictate everything, and we wonder if life is ever going to be good again. If we're honest, we wonder why we ever chose to do this to ourselves. For some, symptoms of depression can set in. There's no enjoyment found in their life, and you wish you could just stay in bed all day. For others, the anxiety builds as the loss of control makes the need for absolute and perfect control even more important. And I could go on. I just saw a patient remote from delivery of her second baby who from the outside had the picture-perfect life. 2 beautiful, healthy kids, a handsome, supportive husband, and her dream job. But in our consult, she shared how completely unhappy she was. She felt she was not a good mom. She was not happy in her marriage, and she was mourning the woman full of hope and joy that she once was, certain that that woman was gone, sacrificed in order to be a mother. As we talked, it was clear that her feelings were nearly 100% due to the loss of autonomy that motherhood had brought her. Her one safe place, not just a happy space, but a safe space, was work. The one place where she was the person she used to be. The one place that she had some control of in her life. Whether you're pregnant, recently postpartum, or like me, remote from delivery, but always in the thick of motherhood, we are fighting every day to maintain some level of control in our lives. So how do we do it? The fix isn't easy, and our first attempt isn't always a home run, but I like to simplify it to doing 2 things. First, taking control of you, and second, taking control of your task list. First, taking control of you. This involves that first thing we talked about, the first quality that we talked about of an autonomous person, being self-aware. What do you miss about the days before you were a mother? What freedoms did you have? What needs were you meeting that are not being met now? Being self-aware of your bare minimum needs is key, and not many people in my experience know what they need. The thing that fills their cup, that drives you, that excites you. If you do, that is fantastic. Implement it. You have a baby, you're extremely busy, and again, that baby's running your life. So when you implement it, it will have to be modified at first. Clearly, you're a mom now, and few of us have the support or the freedom needed to have a baby and have things just like they were before. So how do we do it? The fix isn't easy, and our first attempt isn't always a home run, but I like to simplify it to 2 things. First, taking control of you, and second, taking control of your task list. First, taking control of you. Remember that first quality of a person who had control of their life or was an autonomous person? It was being self-aware. So this first step involves being self-aware. What do you miss about the days before you were a mother? What freedoms did you have? What needs were you meeting then that you're not meeting now? Being self-aware of your bare minimum needs is key, and not many people, in my experience, know what they need. The thing that fills your cup, the thing that drives you, that excites you, not many people seem to know that. If you do, that is fantastic. And I want you to start to implement that, whether it's exercise, whether it's reading, whether it's finding more time for sleep, which happens to be a lot of people's freedom that they miss. When you implement this, it's going to be modified at first. Clearly, you're a mom now, and few of us have the support or freedom needed to have a baby and still have things as they were before. You will see, though, that 15 to 30 minutes a week of doing you can change your whole outlook. As time passes, you will find that you will be able to increase the amount of time and frequency that you're able to do whatever thing fills your cup, excites you, and reminds you of the you that you used to be. If you don't know, I often tell patients to do an activity. It's called your dream day. I have them think about what they would do in a perfect day. Again, the dream day is not in Fiji on vacation or touring Europe. It's a dream day here in your life, wherever that may be. And it may even involve going to work. It involves the things that you filled your normal life with that made your life great. When you think about this activity, you'll typically come across some things that you actually love doing, that you chose to do with your time when you had that choice and that freedom. If you still can't think of something, I encourage you to start trying things. Try exercise, try audiobooks, coloring, organizing, journaling, gardening, meeting a friend. I have a patient who loves improv and was taking classes, and it was important for us to get her back into doing that. This doesn't need to be a talent, doesn't need to be something extravagant. It just needs to be something that you enjoy, that brings you peace, that motivates you, that restores you. Making an effort to not lose yourself in motherhood is a gift not only to yourself, but to your family. Moms who have passion can be more compassionate. Moms who believe in themselves can believe in their child. Moms who are excited about who they are have space to be excited about motherhood. Moms who love who they are can find ways to love motherhood. Moms who dream raise kids who dream bigger. Moms who continue to grow see how they can help their children grow. And moms who have what they need can give what is needed. I cannot tell you how important it is that you find the things you need and you start implementing them. Again, modified at first. But you having that time to yourself is key to being able to thrive in motherhood. Second, we need to have control over the task list. Life is busy with work, cleaning, restocking the house, cooking, family responsibilities, bills, projects, health issues, etc., etc. Before you became a mom. Now you've added a life that is dependent on you 24/7. And more laundry, more cleaning, more things to keep stocked, and a whole lot of appointments. And those are just the highlights, and that does not even include the emotional side of all these new tasks. How are you ever supposed to feel control of your life with that list? The emotional side of this is huge, and we'll talk more about this when we talk about confidence. To start, I want you to make a list of all your tasks, all of them. All the ones that you're in charge of. And then I want you to prioritize them. Again, putting the things at the top that are most important, crucial, essential. Then the things that are most important to you. And then the rest. When you look at the list now, what ones can you eliminate? Are there any that you can do less often? Or are there any that you could maybe do less perfectly? In order to feel in control, we need to believe that we are the locus of control, and we need to believe that we can accomplish the list of tasks we have for ourselves. So the first step in that is obviously to make sure that we actually can. We need to set reasonable expectations. When you are feeding a baby every 2.5 hours, and it takes 40 to 60 minutes each time to do that, it's not reasonable to expect yourself to have all the laundry done, the kitchen cleaned, the bathrooms cleaned, the floors vacuumed, etc., etc., and a well-balanced meal each meal of the day. That is a setup for failure. When we are able to prioritize our task list, I typically allow my patients to keep the top 3 to be their tasks. The rest, they either need to be divvied out to support help your partner, or we need to modify them so that we do them less often or less perfectly, as I discussed. This allows you to have some control back of your task list, which again allows you to feel like you are the locus of control. Again, when you first have your baby, you will feel like you have no control of your life. But I feel like this is such an important transition point in your life because it is the point where you realize and make decisions about what actually is most important to you. What is the most important thing for you to have control of? Like we talked about with taking control of you, it's an important moment in your life where you stop and think what is most important to you. What makes you you? What excites you? What gave you purpose in life? And what brought you joy? And making sure that this stays in your life. So that translates to you as a mother. And the second thing, taking control of your task list. Arranging it so the things that are the most important to you and your family do get done by you. And the other things fall by the wayside. When we search for and create autonomy as a mother, again, it is a new thing. It's never going to be the same as it was before. It's taking control in the new role, your role as a mother. It allows us to live more authentically, to develop personally. And as we strive to do this and strive to find ourselves and find ourselves in motherhood, we can often find ourselves to be more creative. And if we do this successfully, we will be more motivated. As we see ourselves doing this, we are becoming more self-aware. We are seeing ourselves accomplish things and becoming more efficacious, as we talked about. We see ourselves becoming that locus of control as we take this newborn child and learn how to care for them. We use the support that we have to allow ourselves those freedoms that we need, and we can become the moms that we want to become as we seek to find the control of our life that we need. Again, this is one of the hardest concepts. And like I told you about that mother that I met, she wasn't a novice mom. She was a very experienced mother, but she still had not taken the steps to take control back of her life. And because of that, she was left feeling like she wasn't a good mom and that she was failing not only at being a mom, but failing at her life. I hope that as you guys think about this in your life and you challenge yourself to take those first basic steps, I'm sure we'll go deeper at another time, where you look at what you need and you take control of that, and then you take control of your task list, that you will find some of that level of freedom back and you'll find that control. I'm so excited for you guys to take this challenge. I think about it almost every day when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I take a deep breath and I say, do I feel like I'm not in control? Do I feel like I'm not competent? Do I feel like something wrong with one of my relationships? And I evaluate those 3 pillars of mental well-being and I figure out why I'm feeling off, and then I dive right in. A lot of the time it's the autonomy. And so I take a step back and I think about, am I in control of myself? Or am I in control of the things that I have to be on top of? And if I'm not, it's time to rethink that. I encourage you guys all to take what we've talked about today and implement that in your life in any way you can. Send your comments, questions. I'd love to hear from you. And just challenge you guys to seek for finding yourself, finding those things that make you you, and never giving up on yourself in motherhood. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.